It is about journalists and how they can do their work without attacks. The Media Foundation for West Africa is demanding swift investigations into threats on the lives of some media personnel, including investigative journalist Manasseh Azure Awini. In an email sent to Mr. Awini, an unknown person is said to have told him to always remember the murder of Ahmed Swale, another investigative journalist, anytime he, Manasseh Azure Awini, picks up a pen to write a story. Ahmed Swale was shot in broad daylight near his home at Medina by unknown gunmen after leader of his team, Anas Arimiyao Anas, got some threat or had threats on his life following his release of a documentary on the Ghana Football Association. In an interview on the Prime Morning Show, Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa said the lack of action taken against persons who threaten journalists for doing their work seemed to be breeding impunity.
Well, in this particular instance, it calls for swift investigations, and I know Manasseh has reported the matter to the police, and we can only expect that the police would do a very thorough investigation and bring the perpetrator to book. It's important that we go beyond what is happening to Manasseh, to others who have also raised complaints of intimidation, complaints of threats, and I've learned about Efia Pokria raising a similar concern. I've read about Abdul Hai Mumin of GDC also making a similar report. And as I said, I think it provides an opportunity for the police to send a clear signal that people cannot threaten others, people cannot just commit crimes against other people and think that they can go scot-free. So we look forward to the police conducting a very swift investigation into all these acts of threat and bringing the perpetrators to book so that it will send a clear signal to others who may be harboring the same intentions. It is something that we are already working on. As I've said, Manasseh has reported the matter to the police. We'll be following up with the police. In terms of the threats that have been issued, of course, we do have our international partners that we work with, most of whom have capacity to investigate these kinds of, crimes emanating from digital platforms and so on. And we've gotten to a stage where we do have quite some strong collaboration with many of these, big digital platforms, to the extent that anytime we reach out to them, to the extent possible, they are able to support, so long as it's a matter of crime. And this is something that we are not.
Media Foundation for West Africa's Executive Director speaking there. Now, lawyer Martin Kpebu says it is the job of the journalist to hold the government accountable. Hence, all persons must speak against the threat against journalists.
Whatever happens to your neighbor may well affect you. We have other popular saying that when your neighbor's beard is on fire, you find water for yours, right? You could go on and on and on. So let's just make sure that every day we will stand up against these misguided elements. Yes, we know they are bound to come up, but we also are bound to stand up against them. And of course, I want to bring in the constitutional provision here so that we reflect on saying, the point is that you guys as media, you don't have an option, because the Constitution says that you shall uphold the accountability, you see, of the government. It's not an option. It's in Article 162 Clause 5. And I'll read. It says, all agencies of the mass media shall at all times be free to uphold the principles, provisions, and objectives of this Constitution, and shall uphold the responsibility and accountability of the government to the people of Ghana. I'm sure you know the normal rule that when you find the word shall, it's imperative. So as long as you operate in the media space, even at the peril of your life, the Constitution says that you shall uphold the responsibility and accountability of the government to the people. And so we would continue to urge you as a media to continue, and we as citizens would also give you all the support that you require. And part of that support is coming into studio here to participate in your programs. And that we've always done.
Martin Kpebu is a private legal practitioner. But as the threats continue, Deputy Information Minister Pius Hadzide insists the media is enjoying a lot of freedom under this current administration. He has been speaking also on the Super Morning Show with Kojo Yankson.
The work of the journalists has been made even much more easier, more competition and all that. Right. First of all, I think that notion about the freedom of the media being under attack is erroneous. It's not happening anywhere. It's a figment of the.
Would you like to say that to Manasseh,
in imagination,
to Abdul Hayy Mumen?
I'm saying to
the family of Ahmed Swale?
I'm saying that, you see, that's what I was going to come to. But before I come to that one, this theory of alignment, I beg to differ. I think that what worries me may be what some people call mercenary journalism. If that's what we are discussing, that can be a problem. Because it is clear, there's the literature that safety and responsibility are two sides of the same coin. And so as we speak about the safety of journalists, we at the same point are talking about responsible journalism. And so if we are talking about mercenary journalism and sometimes even opinion journalism, we can talk about those.
Are you saying that opinion journalism warrants...
Yeah, that's the problem. Is that,
are you saying that opinion journalism warrants
attacks? It's not me
attacks?
saying. It is literature. It's confirmed. It's literature. It's researched that safety and responsibility are the two sides of one coin. And Honorable Daffy Amenkpo made a point.
Opinion journalism is not responsible journalism.
But I'm say again.
So opinion journalism is not responsible journalism.
Well, I don't know what opinion journalism cannot be opinion. As far as reporting the facts are concerned, you are not, as a journalist, you are not under obligation to report your opinion.
Reporting
you are reporting
one
the facts.
Method of journalism.
If you want to do an analysis, those are your opinion. So as a journalist, say again.
Analysis is also a part of a journalist's job.
That is analysis, but reportage, opinion report. If you're doing opinion journalism, it's a concept on its own, which is a deviation from the reportage of facts. When you superimpose your opinions and you want to push them as the facts, then that becomes a problem.
Is an opinion.
Say again?
An editorial is an opinion.
Yes.
So when the Daily Graphic writes an editorial, should they be attacked for it?
You have to understand the concept. An editorial is an editorial. The disclaimer is issued that this is the opinion of the writer. It's an editorial. It's not opinion journalism. But the concept of opinion journalism, as is disguised, it's not me, it's not my theory, is that increasingly, all over the world, not just in Ghana, and I'm using the terminology as a global concept, mercenary journalism, opinion journalism, where instead of reporting the facts, journalists tend to report their interpretation of the facts. That is opinion journalism. I'm saying that if those are some of the challenges that people have, then we have to be wary about them, so that in our operations as journalists, we also are guided.
And that's Pius Hadzide, Deputy Information Minister there. I'm going to go right now on to Zoom and speak to Ken Ashigbe in his line of work in the past. He's managed journalist here at the Multimedia Group Limited, as well as the Graphic Communications Group. He's currently CEO of the Telecoms Chamber. Mr. Ashigbe, thank you for your time. Merry Christmas to you.
Happy returns.
All right, so I just want to start by what we just ended, the sound bites we just ended with, Pius Hadzide there. Maybe you can help us a little bit to clear this out. Opinion journalism and editorial, and adding your own interpretation. What are your thoughts?
So I think it's important to state that, when you're reporting, facts are facts, so you don't mix your editorial with reporting the facts, reporting the news. But I completely have major issues with that theory that says that responsibility and safety of journalists are different sides of the same coin. I'm not too sure how many politicians have been beaten because they've taken a wrong decision. I'm not too sure how many doctors have been beaten because surgery has gone wrong. I'm not too sure how many lawyers have been attacked because they've lost cases in court. So I've always had this position that when we start discussing the safety of journalists, and then we start hearing the issue of responsibility, it is like justifying the reasons why people should be attacked. And if you look in our situation in Ghana, most of the journalists who have been attacked, from the 4 of you who have been threatened, from Manasseh, from Efia Pokua, tell me how many of these were doing irresponsible journalism. Most of the time, the people who are attacked when they are doing their job. So, if and you find out that those who are doing irresponsible journalism, nobody really touches them. Nobody touches them because they are normally aligned to political. It is politicians who are running media stations, media houses who behave in that, and they are not attacked. It is normally the mainstream media who are attacked. The issues of attack of multimedia, when we call elections, it's not something that happened recently. As far back as when I was, general manager of Joy FM, we experienced that and we've seen that. So you call the elections for one political party, then the other comes to attack you. And that has happened severally. And so it is important that we stop this thing of saying that, responsibility and safety are the same side of court. It's completely wrong.
Let me just jump in.
Ghana,
I wanted to just...
the evidence does not support that at all. As a social scientist, the evidence, if you look back, you go back and you look at the people who are being attacked in Ghana, very few of them, or I would even dare say that none of them was involved in irresponsible journalism.
Okay, so when they say that responsibility is important, wouldn't you rather say that it's just a little bit of a caution there? What is the real fear in addressing some of these things with that argument, with that line of argument?
So I would want us to discuss responsibility of the media separately from when we're discussing the safety and attacks of the media. Because what you then do is that you then offer excuses for those on the fringe to perpetuate these attacks. And I say that based on empirical evidence. If you look at the people who have been attacked, Ahmed Swale, somebody should tell me that he was involved in irresponsible journalism. Manasseh, who has been, accused, threatened right now. Yourself, who has been threatened. Efia Pokua, who has been threatened. Show me the irresponsibility in their journalism. So you see, and every time you start hearing that conversation, it is an excuse for the attacks that have been perpetuated against journalists. And it's really very important, especially for those who are in authority, not to start bringing the two issues together. And yes, it's very important that we ensure that there's responsibility in journalism. And as journalists ourselves, we should be ensuring that there's a lot more responsibility. And one of the ways of curing the irresponsibility in journalism is ensuring that we take the politicians who are owning media houses and use that to perpetuate some of these irresponsibilities. But that should completely be separate from when you're discussing the issues of journalists who have been threatened. Currently, Pius Esiedu has been shot in the leg, covering the elections. Would anybody tell me that gentleman who shot him, it was because he was involved in, in irresponsible journalism? So the two issues, that theory, I completely debunk it. And I think it's one of the studies that maybe we also should do and should put out. Because that theory, I don't think, especially when you take the Ghanaian context into consideration, it is not based on any empirical evidence. Most of the irresponsibility that have happened, because people do not like what is reported. They do not like the sunshine that happened from far back, as when a footballer attacked my journalist at Graphic, at far back when I was running Joy FM and then we were beating after calling the election. All of that was not because of irresponsibility of the media. It definitely was not. There was an example of Cabral that was given. Was that irresponsibility? Kweku Baku going into jail, was that all irresponsibility? Tommy Thompson, all of that, was that irresponsible journalism? We have seen a lot of attacks on the media in Ghana, and it's not been because of the irresponsibility of the media. It is just because people do not like to see these things happen. And it's not to say that we don't have irresponsible media persons here. We do, and we all should be able to call them out when they happen. But we should not bring that in when we are discussing the safety of journalists.
It looks like a very big, crazy cycle. Because first of all, let's start from you mentioned the political ownership of media organizations. Then you turn to the police when you are attacked, for the police to investigate some of these things. But we've also seen very little work somehow, if we can put it that way, when it comes to getting swift action on the back of this report. Is that a fair statement, you say?
It's a completely fair statement to have. It is inexplicable that currently, as we speak, Lateef's case, the police have not been able to tell us who were involved in that. You know, and we all know that when police people are attacked in this country, the swiftness with which they are able to resolve this. So it is very important that the police themselves also show a bit more commitment when it comes to the issues of attacks of journalists. When you go back and you look again into the literature, the police are also one of the people who are involved in the attack of the media. But they forget that when the situation turns, and you know the force of the state is against them, it's the media they all run to. And that is why for all of us as Ghanaians, we should all know that it is our very freedom that is under threat. So that as journalists are being attacked, we expect that the state actors would do their job very well. They take these threats and take them very seriously. Not only should they take them seriously, but even the way they report back to us. If you take the issue of Ahmed Swale, yes, we know that some of these investigations can take a while. But you ask yourself, when was the last time that we got any reportage, any update from the police that this is work that they're doing and this is how it's going? Because once we get the police beginning to, you know, show interest in these cases and then give reportage back to us to know that they are working on it, then the perpetrators of these people who are sitting on social media have created accounts and are using them to threaten people, then they will all sit well. And they know that when they do that, the force of the law would come at them. So it is important that the police and the state apparatus take the attacks on journalists and the media very, very seriously, and then they should be seen of being able to support. But in saying so ourselves, we as journalists as well, we also need to take the defense and the advocacy of ourselves a bit more seriously. Most of the time, we advocate for others. When issues of others come, we follow them. But when it comes to ourselves, we do not. And I think it is important that journalists, for this particular time, we make sure that all the cases that are out there, on a constant basis, we are going back to the police and asking them what is the state of this, so that we can report back to Ghanaians, and then we can also be able to support them. And then also for me, another pain I have, and that's where I dug my heart out for multimedia, is the fact that when these things happen, I've heard that you have written to the police CID reporting about that. But right. I'm not too sure that I have seen any formal complaint from the Despite group about the challenge involving Efia Pokuya. And it's important for all publishers that we need to realize that it is on the sweat and the blood of these journalists that we earn our living, that our dividends are paid to us. So when there are challenges involving journalists, let's not shirk our responsibilities. Let's take them seriously. It is also important for us to see the Media Commission as being up and doing. I think they've been too silent when these things happen. We do not see them, you know, applying the powers that they have. It is not to ask too much to ask the Media Commission to be able to get lawyers for journalists who are being attacked, journalists who, so that they can support, and is getting lawyers to have watching briefs in court, getting lawyers to take state institutions on, to take people who are attacking, political parties who are attacking journalists, pastors who are attacking journalists, friends or suspects who are attacking the journalists. It is not too much to ask the Media Commission to be able to take this. The Journalists Association, GJA, should go beyond the statements that they are issuing. We need to get to a point where we let everybody know that this is not acceptable. Journalism is not a crime. We should not go to work and then be attacked for doing our work. If we do wrong, there are means at which you are able to seek redress. And we should let people know that that is what we ought to do. Because otherwise, if we don't do that, the charge that is given onto journalists to be able to hold leadership to account, you will find a situation where you find that journalists will start checking that responsibility. So it is important that for all of us, the Council of State, the chiefs, the churches, all of us, we need to really support this particular cause and ensure that we can bring this rising incidents of impunity that we are beginning to see in our political discourse and then in attacks of journalists, we need to really nip it in the bud.
I can feel the passion then. We're wrapping this up. You say rising cases. The government, and by so doing, the Deputy Information Minister today is insisting that if you would compare what is happening under this the current administration and what happened in previous administrations, that there are far more fewer attacks on journalists in under this administration. Is that a position you share?
So there are attacks that are currently going on as we speak. There were attacks that were going on under the former government as well. We've had the death of a journalist happened, and all of them are being a culmination of what has been happening in the past. So for me, for the fact that currently as we speak, Multimedia has, reported four journalists who have been threatened. Ifya Pokuya have been threatened. Manasseh has been threatened. We have Pius Kweni currently in, I don't know whether he's been discharged from hospital. All of that has happened. But I also told you an example that in the past, under former regimes, we've had journalists attacked, when elections were called. So if you go back and you look at the West African Foundation, the catalog of, the incidents, it's there, it's been there. And, you would think that as we progress, as we are setting up systems, the seditious libel bill had been repealed, the right to information law has been passed, you would be expecting that, these cases will be going up, but they are not. They are still with us. And we are not seeing the force of the state coming down as heavily as they ought to when journalists are attacked. You remember that, and rightly so, when one of our MPs was dastardly killed, and there was a very sad event. Look at the response that the state took, and then Ahmed Swale died. What have we done with Ahmed Swale? Compare that to the two situations. So definitely, I don't think that we are paid a lot of attention, and it's all of us, everybody from the state, from we the journalists, and all of that. We have not paid a lot of attention. So nobody should be basking and saying we are better off today than we were previously. And I'm not interested in the politicization of this. The crimes have been committed against us since we started this the 1992 Constitution, and it's about time we really brought a stop to it.
All right. Mr. Ashigbe, I say a very big thanks to you for your time this afternoon. Hopefully, we'll see better days. Ken Ashigbe there, he has managed, workers here, or journalists here at the Multimedia Group Limited, as well as the Graphic Communications Limited. Well, here are the Multimedia Group. We've written to the Criminal Investigative Department of the Ghana Police Service to probe the threats on the lives of some of our journalists, Evan Smith, my colleague Winston Amwa, Philippo Sebonsu, myself, have received some messages, with various threats linked to the coverage of the election and projection of the winner. The police CID has yet to make a comment on that matter.